All right. What
That
up?
was amazing.
Oh, thank you, Tori. I told Michael Dean before we got started, it really bothered me. First of all, what's up, colleagues? It really bothered me that Michael Dean was not in our intro. He is
Totally.
as much of us as you and I are. So it's just like, it was like all weekend. I was like, dude, just do it. So I've been messing with it, learning how to slowly do the cartoonifications of our lives.
That was
And
amazing.
it happened.
It was amazing.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
so proud of you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. All right. Slapshot likes it. So I'm happy. Tori, are those your Viennese glasses? Because we were doing a show one time, colleagues, when we were kind of just getting our footing in the show. And Tori goes, how do you like my glasses? I feel like they're too Viennese. And I was like, that would be the insult that would stick with you. Like when you break up with somebody, it's like, oh, shut up. That's why I never loved you. You can let that go. But if you're leaving the door and the last thing you hear with your box of stuff is, that's why your glasses are too Viennese, like that would stay with me. I don't care if I married Halle Berry after that. I would be like, what did she mean by that?
I don't know if I like them.
I really do, because I think the square look that I have has been out for a while, and styles ebbs and flows, and I think the ovular
this
is coming in.
Yeah, this is what they said the young kids are wearing. Yes. Happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. It's so good to see everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Al, I cannot thank you enough for that. I can't do that. For that opening. It was phenomenal. Bravo to you. Bravo.
Good. All right. Well, and the thing is, I had no feedback on it because, I'm asking Sar if she likes it, but she has been on a girls' trip all weekend with her friend, your friend, Tori, our friend, Audrey. She's a super dope human being, and she's a big hiker. Amazing. So they've been doing hikes all over the Colorado area. I did not join because it was playoff weekend in football. You got the invite, and you said I'm in, and then you back. What happened? What happened to hiking weekend for?
I said, do I need waterproof shoes? Because they said it was like icy, and they said yes, and you need, and there's cleats, ice track cleats.
Yeah.
Put on the bottom of your shoe, and I was out.
Yeah, I think that even though outside we present very differently, we are very much the same. We are city kids. We are huge pusses, and I don't want to do anything where they're like, just jump down over the creek. I'm out. I don't want anywhere where, like, my rule. I don't want to be anywhere where an orange helicopter has to come rescue you. That's my rule.
I was out like immediately. Sorry, I'm so happy. She says we're driving back. It was been so much fun. I just don't have the stamina to take an ice cleat, and even I just couldn't do it. And I apologize, but we're going to dinner on Wednesday, so I will catch up with them and find out how everything went, which will be exciting.
Even when we did on DBL, we did the Clothed and Afraid, the takeoff on Naked and Afraid, where we had to stay outside for the night. And Jeff and Sam were, shooting animals and making shelters. Me and Tori are like, the ground is cold. I want to be where there's some Wi-Fi. I don't like being.
I was miserable.
I don't like it. I feel uncomfortable.
Hate it. Yeah, it was called Yaks Tracks, Julia. That's what they told me to get. And I said, I don't need Yaks Tracks. I need to stay home. That's what Tori needs.
I'm just going to be a burden. Also, I don't want to be anywhere where, like, like when you go into nature, they're always like the nature people that give you like the ways to like remember to live, like with bears. It's like, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, I don't want to be trying to remember limericks when my life is on the line. Am I supposed to yell at this bear? No, that means he's going to kill. Oh, I forgot. I don't like that.
Once there was a man in the middle of a river.
Yes. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to do it. So, Tori, you had a good weekend. Not hiking. What'd you do, real quick, before we get into the weekend? That was
crazy. So on Saturday, I met up with Chris's wife Sarah, and we had brunch, which was delightful. And then I had some work done on my face, just in terms of like making everything, facial stuff. And then I went to dinner with some new friends, and we met the chef because they are the PR for them, and stayed for like 5 hours. It was delicious. It's called Molino Cheeto, and it's in Stanley Marketplace. I highly recommend it. They're going to be on Colorado and Company. And then on Sunday, I went to the gym by myself and watched the Chicago Bears LA Rams game alone, and was freaking out. I was screaming in the gym alone.
The game was awesome.
It was amazing. And of course, I feel terrible for Caleb Williams. I hate when the team is, I feel bad. I feel bad for Williams. And that catch was so amazing, but then that interception, it was just crazy. That was every game has been really, really good, and it's crazy.
Yeah. As I was watching that game by myself, I had the same thought, Tor. I was just like, this is why people love football, because it's real life drama. It's like,
totally,
Caleb completes a pass and you're up. And I'm not a Bears fan. Then it's interception. It's like, it's a lot like life condensed into 2 hours.
Yes. And I was so shocked, but unbelievably good game. And congrats to the Rams. And so the Patriots, the Broncos, the Rams, and who else?
And oh my gosh, who's the other one? Who beat the Texans?
The Jags?
No, they've been gone.
Oh.
Somebody will. Oh, I can't believe I can't remember that. Okay. One other team is in
the 49ers?
No, they lost.
Seahawks.
Oh, the Seahawks. Yeah, the Seahawks. The Seahawks.
Thank you,
Seahawks beat the Niners up the way, like, what would happen if me and Tori walked into a biker bar and was like, who wants some? Like, that's the equivalent of what happened to the 49ers. Like, they just got taken out back and just really beaten badly. Tori, are you frozen, or are you just like shocked by how great I am as a co-host? Okay, there, you're good to go now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get into it, because we are living in quite a time, my darling dear. Tori, big things popping over the weekend. Terrifying to think that 1,500 troops are on standby. The Pentagon has soldiers ready, while Minnesota mobilizes their National Guard amid surging ICE tensions. Tori, is this what we've all kind of feared? Is that the federal government is sending in troops? The state of Minnesota is mobilizing their troops, plus the civilians on the ground, plus, the anti, or I should say pro-ICE forces, including ICE on the ground. It just seems like a tinderbox of violence that has already occurred, and, violence to come, because it seems like that's just what's going on.
Yeah, this is the showdown. And I saw a meme the other day that said, no one thought the revolution would start in Minnesota except for Prince.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, I was, this is where it begins. This is the start of what, in my opinion, this administration has sort of been going after for a really long time. It's not just chaos, it's Americans versus Americans. This is the first we've had that since 1863 of the Civil War, where brother was fighting brother. And it's starting in Minnesota, the 6 blocks from George Floyd, Renee Good. They say when the American Revolution started, a single shot heard around the world. That shot to Renee Good, in my opinion, was the shot. And we're going to see what happens when state and federal Americans fight each other. When this happens, there's a reason to call up certain martial law, certain things like the Insurrection Act, which he is trying to bring up. And all of that goes to one goal, which Al has so brilliantly said this from so long ago, was to halt the midterms and stop the votes. And we're going down that path at a rapid speed, and it's going to blow. So
Tori, I feel that, we're going to get to the midterms, because that's its own separate chunk. But I did want to play this, because I think not only what you said was spot on, it's that I think a lot of Americans can't believe that these rights that we have drilled in our heads from the age that we can go to school and take our first civics class. You have inalienable rights. You use these rights when you need them more than anything else. And I want to play this montage. It's a little long, but I love when I say diversity in this montage, it's so many different people with so many different issues of what's going on. There is some language in here, but like, guys, we're way past language. So I'm going to play this right now.
In my car, and I got out of my car with my whistle, and I started blowing my whistle, and then they started macing us, and I didn't do anything but blow my whistle, and the officer punched me in the face, knocked off my glasses, and I was still whistling, and then he punched me again and knocked me down, and then they arrested me.
Bro, let me tell you something. These people are not playing, yo. They're not even asking if you're a citizen. They're not asking if you had document. I'm in the African store. They broke in the people African store. They broke from the back door. I'm shopping and they just snuck behind me and they grabbed my shirt from the back, bro. They don't even care if you have documents. They're not even asking you if you're okay.
Today I got arrested for being in a street. I wasn't impeding traffic. I was just scolding Nazis for their bad decisions. And they came up, they lined up, and then they sprinted after me. And they chased me for blocks. I was running for my life. I was scared. I don't know what they're going to do to me. A woman was filming me from her minivan, and I begged her to let me in because I was scared. So I jumped in the back of her minivan, and you know what they did? They came up and they put a gun to her face. They pulled a pistol on her and put a gun to her face. This is not America. This is not freedom. This is fascism. It's here now. While I was detained, they put us into a cell without ventilation. They put us in there, and people were pepper sprayed, so we're just coughing the whole time. They didn't read me my rights. They didn't read any of their rights. No one got to speak to a lawyer. One man was in there. They beat his face in. He was bleeding. His face was smashed in for the crime of blowing a whistle in public. Wake the fuck up, America. Stop pretending like the midterms are gonna save you. Get off your fucking asses and resist.
Hey, so an ICE agent just admitted to a woman for months in their custody. He did this in exchange for letting her see her daughter. Her child that she birthed. She's fucking captured, taken away from her family, held in a facility for months, being assaulted, but so she can see her child. This is not political anymore. If you still support Trump or ICE, I don't even have words to say to you.
All right. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think not only is the First Amendment being sort of ruined here, we have the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and the Sixth Amendment that we're all going through. Search and seizure, due process, right not to incriminate yourself. At one point, Kristi Noem asked Mayor Frey, who is the mayor of Minneapolis, to organize some safe spots. This was the word she used, safety zones, for First Amendment people to use so they wouldn't get hurt. And he responded that the First Amendment rights doesn't have safety zones, that's the whole point of the First Amendment.
This isn't freeze tag where you can just go to base.
Right. So never in the history of the world have masked men asking for your papers been the good guys, ever. And when everyone is writing in here, if you don't speak English, you should be deported. Is that they have somehow not only forgotten what it means to be an American, what it means to be a patriot, what it means to be a constitutionalist, they also seem to have forgotten all of World War II, in which the greatest generation fought against fascism. We were the good guys. Captain America, the comic strip, was based on fighting fascism. And now it's in our roads, in our streets, right here in Minneapolis. And some people are sticking up for it. So you're sticking up for the people that we fought and won and sacrificed all those lives for back in 1944, 40 to 45. How much history have you forgotten that you can't remember? A whole world was fighting against this, and you still are standing up for it. Kristi Noem is breaking the Constitution. She's lying about chemical agents. She's lying about taking in citizens. She's lying about constitutional rights. And she's lying about how the detention centers are being held up to standards, which they are not. No ventilation. I've heard there's an infection racing through there. I've heard of SAs going through there.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Cory Booker recently, just today, said he's introducing legislation to train the ICE agents longer.
If you don't get out of my face,
Sir,
with that
sir,
nonsense.
sir, that is not the kind of fight we need to be giving. Governors like the woman in Virginia, who has allowed Virginia police to now go and arrest ICE agents, need to be doing more, and they can do more. So it's up to the governors at this point. Remember, he's only hitting Democratic cities anyway, to stand up and say, if you come into my city and do unconstitutional things, you will be arrested. That's where we are.
Let me say something too to Cory Booker. Jonathan Ross, the man that shot Renee Good 3 times in the face, I believe 4 times in total, was a firearms instructor. He was a firearms instructor, Tori.
Yes.
He is the instructor. Did you know that he had 35 cases against him for over aggressive tactics? 35. This is a person that has been allowed, this random dude who is now a millionaire thanks to the GoFundMe for him. He's now a millionaire, Tori, for murdering a woman on camera on his phone. That made him money.
Yes.
So, Tori, we have to have the more difficult conversation, because it's a weird analogy, but I think hopefully you'll see where I'm going at the end. A while back, we were having some fun talking about the movie Remember the Titans. And, there's always a scene, where the school gets integrated. There's problems at first, but then the black kids and the white kids learn to play together. And there is this beautiful, they win the game at the end and they realize racial unity is the way to achieve. What I said then, kind of in jest, was like, show the other fans in the stands. Because there were some fans at that Remember the Titans game that didn't care if they won or lost. They didn't like that. But what we've always been shown is the townspeople realize the error of their ways, and the white hand and the black hand come together and clasp, and everything's all good. But clearly, and this goes back to what you were saying about, what did we fight for in 1940 through 1945? There are some people that weren't with that. Clearly. We don't make movies about those people. We don't give those people a microphone. Those people had been marginalized to weird dark corners of the internet and weird kind of white nationalist meetings, but they're out now. And there's a whole bunch of them. They are speaking to them through our Department of Homeland Security advertisements for ICE. Have you been looking at those? The posts?
Yeah.
Like and we'll have I'll have the footage tomorrow, but all of the tweets that they send out are either 14 words or 8 words, and that is an homage to right-wing Nazi propaganda. I forgot there's something about the number 14 and 8 means something to those people, and that's why they're all written like that. The song that is playing underneath those videos are also the songs that the Proud Boys were playing when they march. And it's open now. And there's a decent amount of people, including major public officials, that aren't really hiding anymore. What they're really saying, Tori, is like, go to your safe space, because if you're not there, we can't really promise you nothing. So and lastly, I'll just say, like, the fact that they're sending paratroopers in, Tori, my dad was a paratrooper, and I wonder if he was alive today, what he would feel. Yeah. In a weird, I'm almost glad that he's not alive to see this.
Yeah. I mean, these are these
men from planes come down on parachutes with guns in a city I was in a month and a half ago for the 10,000 Laughs Comedy Festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are living in a different time, and I'm really glad we have each other. All right, Tor, let's move on. All right, Tori, let's get to this, because I've wondered. We've already talked about not that we're advocating we want to see this, that violence may be an option that some people seek to get their justice, but other people are going about it another way. Minnesota calls for a January 23rd economic blackout, kind of citing what was done with Target. Faith and labor leaders are pushing for a statewide shutdown and the Don't Spend a Dime Day to protest ICE operations. What do you think about this nonviolent way to combat what's going on in your hometown?
Pretty appropriate that it's decided and announced on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. It's going to take all sides. So it's going to take protesters in the streets. It's going to take financial protestation. It's going to take government protestation. It's going to take people on strike. It's going to take those people that walked into a church because the pastor is also the head of ICE in that particular community and stopped the worshiping and saying, you got to get out of here. It's interruptions. It's civil disobedience. It's nonviolent, but it will interrupt the flow. And that is the reason for the protest. The higher the stakes, the better the protest. And nobody, I mean, nobody understood that more than Reverend Martin Luther King. And so we are literally following his guidelines, and they're just as relevant as they were back then. And it's a little bit scarier in some respects in terms of the amount of military that's going to come in and who's in charge at this point in the administration. So,
you know, Tori, as you said, who's in charge of this administration? This is the one form of protest that I don't think that they can readily combat, because like we've been saying for months on the show, we both think that they're anxious for there to be protesters in the street that they can deem violent so they can then subject violence on them. But think about initially when they first started the immigration crackdown. Do you remember when they were going to like the fields and the hospitals where people were picking strawberries, where people were working in slaughterhouses and chicken factories, and they were originally picking up undocumented immigrants from there? But remember what happened, Tori? All those big Trump donors like Purdue Farms and Dole and everybody else were just like, hey, those are kind of our workers. We kind of need them to keep our hotels open. We kind of need them to pick the fruit that Americans buy and eat every day. And what did they do? Trump made a declaration, we're not going to go after people in the hospitality, because the money, the bag is over everything.
Yeah, especially for him.
Yes, absolutely. Violence, we can do it all day, please. And I would love it. But when you talk about, hey, we're going to cut off some cut your economic legs out from underneath you, how long could this go on before major businesses are in major, major trouble? This country is a capitalistic country. And when you grind those gears to a halt, think about just what the bus strikes did.
Yeah.
In the late 60s.
Yeah, the nursing strike. Yeah, the bus strikes and the sit downs. When you just stop, things come to a halt and money's not being made. That is the wallet, when it's hit, is sometimes bigger than when flashbangs go off.
Right.
What scares me? Yeah, go. No, please.
No, please. Oh, you were going to say what scares you?
I guess what scares me most is like when they interviewed Kristi Noem recently and they were like, we are not using chemical gas. And then the reporter shows her live, them using chemical gas. She's like, we're only using that when it's violent. And she's like, are you not listening to judges' orders? What scares me most is the lack of a co-equal branch, and that the executive branch has taken over the Senate, the House, the judicial, and now is just running.
And the Supreme Court. Let's put that
That's
in.
what I mean, the judicial.
Yeah.
And there's no orders to be followed. That's tyranny. That's where it gets really frightening.
And I mean, that's where it circles back to people like saying that they are going to resort to violence. And these people that are saying this are not part of militias.
No, but they don't.
Yeah, they don't have any other options.
Exactly. If judges' orders are not being listened to, then the people take control. And then there's problems. And then there's martial law. And then he gets to suspend voting. And all of this seems like it was all pre-planned. And remember, they were there to calm the riots down. They were there to calm the riots down. Nobody was in Minneapolis being hurt by undocumented workers. Nobody. And yet here we are starting this type of fight, all in the name of trying to quell the crime.
Well, Tori, and I don't, just because you said it, I'm glad you mentioned it. When those protesters went to a church in Minneapolis and were protesting inside while they were conducting a service, that the pastor of that church was credibly accused of being an ICE agent, an ICE helper.
Yeah.
And so they went into that church, and
Yeah.
Don Lemon interviewed that pastor and people that
I
were
just saw that.
protesting.
Yes.
Did you also see, Tori, that Don Lemon is going to be, it looks like the DOJ is going to bring him up on charges on the Ku Klux Klan Act of inciting a public disturbance. I just read that today, and I saw an interview with him.
Of course, why not take down the press, take down the truth tellers, take down Jimmy Kimmel, take down the comedians, then take down the press so that nobody is speaking, then let certain media companies take over the country. That is, of course, that's going to happen. Of course. And will there be justice, or will they even listen to the orders of the judicial branch? So we're in a timeline, y'all. We're in the timeline of the beginning of the end, and it's really, really scary. Yeah, and I have to agree with Air Descartes, which I love the name there, but I agree. It's not Republican versus Democrat here. This is a Kremlin-inspired totalitarian fascism versus American democracy. And all of you yelling and saying I'm an idiot, all of you need to brush up on what it means to be an American. You don't get to just kill people because you don't like what they did or what they said or what happened. That doesn't give you the right to murder. And I also have to say that ICE agents do not have jurisdiction over American citizens. They are only over immigration issues.
And border control, absolutely.
And border control, that is it. So if they tell you as a U.S. citizen to get out of the car and show your ID, you have no jurisdiction over what you're doing. And then they do. No, they do not. Lost daydreamer. You're absolutely incorrect. They absolutely do not. And so at some point, when you realize that, that's when the local police come in, and now we have federal versus local, and then the whole thing starts.
And that's going to be the standoff. All right, Tori, let's get to this because I know Michael Dean's got some footage for us. All right, Tor, you mentioned right at the jump start, at the get-go of everything that we were talking about, that one possible outcome that the current administration could be seeking is the cancellation of the midterms. And let's just get to that right now. In Arizona,
You're kind of buffering. Are you okay? Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Okay. Basically, Michael Dean, why don't you play the footage from
what is your plan then? For example, if the president or someone else tries to get a hold of vote tabulation machines, what if they cancel the election? These are really real concerns.
Look, you can't cancel the election. Okay.
Tries to.
Well, it tries to. You know, we're working. Okay, so we have been working closely with the Attorney General's office and the Governor's office. We've got a whole bunch of scenarios that we're playing through to make sure that we're prepared for the types of processes that might be necessary to preserve our democracy. So that if somebody tries to cancel something, if somebody tries to take some stuff they're not entitled to, we can go to the courts, get the orders, and hopefully have the backup of law enforcement to make sure that we can move forward through this. But here's the problem. The fact that we're running through these scenarios in the first place should tell you something about the health of our democracy. The fact that I've got a plan to try to get a court to order someone not to steal ballots, that's a problem in America. And some people will say, well, that's not America. That is America today. We live in a nation with a diminished democracy, and it is an embarrassment that we are here. We have countrymen and women, our fellow Americans out there, who don't want democracy anymore. That is a horrific realization. But if we don't face it, if we don't talk about it openly, if we don't admit the truth, then we're burying our heads in the sand and we're letting the bad actors run roughshod over everything. I can't tell anybody in here what to do. But if you're not doing anything, I'm jealous of your privilege.
Damn.
Wow. I mean, he took the words out of my mouth.
Damn.
The fact that we're even having this discussion and it doesn't sound like crazy conspiratorial talk. One thing that I did hear that at least was semi reassuring about us, the likelihood of us having elections, is like, even if Trump wanted to cancel the elections, that would be a very difficult thing to do, because it's not just a presidential election. There are hundreds and hundreds of Republicans running for office all over the country. So if you cancel the elections, like, you cancel their chances of getting into, going from a congressman to a senator. So it would behoove the Republicans to also make sure that we have elections so that they too can retain office.
I can't. I was on TV with you for 7 years, and January 6, 2021, when they tried to stop a legal voting election process, was the closest I got to thinking, oh my God, we almost turned into a fascist country. And now we're trying to have plan Bs in case voting rights are taken away. And it escalates, and it's a path that Machiavelli has written from the very beginning of how to be a tyrant. And he's just walking down the steps, and we're all just following behind. And these are all how you do it. And you get people in this chat telling me I'm an idiot and this Trump is living in my brain rent free. I'm an American who's trying to save American ideals. I'm a patriot, and this should matter to me. Voting rights should matter. They are the backbone of democracy. And if we're here already, we're in the beginning of the revolution. So I'm not saying I'm up for violence or anything like that, but we're at a turning point in which you can really only go a few ways to save the vote. Like, I'm not saying go out and vote like I used to be. I'm like, let there be a vote. That's crazy. And the more we get normalized to this, then the next step happens. Then the next step happens. So now we're like, well, maybe voting shouldn't happen because there is that. Like, these are all exactly what they want you to get normal to. Shooting a woman in the face when she was trying to back up and get away. Well, she was blocking her car. You can't murder someone like that. All these things are getting very normalized very, very quickly. Greenland, by the way, Al, has now trumped Epstein as the most Googled search. So the things no longer talking about, it's exactly the way they wanted it. It's exactly the playbook. It's not hard. Read Mein Kampf. Don't, but I'm saying read these playbooks of how to tell them. Don't.
I have a copy right here.
Yeah. Don't trust your eyes. Don't trust your ears. Just don't trust the news. Don't trust the doctors. Don't trust the press. Don't trust the comedians. Just trust me. That's a tyrant. That's scary. That is scary.
Tori, since you mentioned Epstein, it's interesting you say that, because we are now 1 month past the deadline that all the Epstein files were supposed to be released. And what I've read, and I read 3 different articles, all of them to an article said that a little more than only 1% of the Epstein files has been released.
Yeah,
1%.
Yeah.
So we are 30 days past the deadline, and all we've gotten from the Democrats is better training. And that's what I said about the Democrats 6 months ago. I don't even know if I ever said it on TV. I like to talk in sports analogies, and the Harlem Globetrotters have been around forever. But the Harlem Globetrotters don't come in and play the Indiana Pacers or the world champion 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. Nope. They play a team called the Washington Generals. The Washington Generals are a fake team that show up and lose. They're the team that, like, during the jump ball, when they jump, one of the Globetrotters pulls their shorts down. When they go to shoot a free throw, one of the Globetrotters throws a bucket of glitter in their face. They're there to lose. And there is no world, no realm, no way that you can convince this man that is talking that the Democrats are nothing but controlled opposition. They do not try. Chuck Schumer is just like, it's like you got your grandfather out of his den, like while he was finishing a boat in a bottle, and was like, we need you because we have a major crisis. Some glass went through little man's foot. He's like, okay, well, tell him, get some ice. Like, we need an adult here, not Cory Booker, which I cannot believe He starts talking about the training. That is, as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, you're an op, bro. You're not even trying to hide it anymore. And I really think that the next wave of Democrats that come that are going to be more Mamdani like, just like we saw with the Republicans when Trump won, there were more Trump-like candidates that came in and were talking about immigration and tough on crime and all that kind of stuff. When one person wins with a certain kind of style, it's going to usher in a new generation of candidates of that political affiliation. And I'm hoping that we see that with Mamdani, more democratic socialism, because the old school Democrats, they just sit there. Has Chuck Schumer even tweeted?
He wrote a strongly worded letter. No, I'm not even kidding you.
Oh,
I do
why didn't you say that?
I need to tell you that the way to look in the future is the younger generation, like you said, of people like Jack Schlossberg, who's John F. Kennedy's grandson, who's running for Congress. Younger people, I've always said this, need to be the next generation in Congress. But Al, it's very important we start looking at our Democratic governors. The governors have a lot of leeway, a lot more than some congressmen and even senators. And so people like the woman in Virginia, people like Gavin Newsom, people like the Illinois Pritzker, they need to start making alliances, and they need to start doing as much as possible to push the line as much as the Republicans are. So keep your eye out for Democratic governors that don't sit on their asses and write strongly worded letters, but gets shit done. That's the type of leader we need right now. And I wish Waltz wasn't not rerunning, but I'm just saying we need stronger people in the Democratic Party to stand up for this tyrannical bullshit. And we're getting the Schumers. Get them out of there. Vote them out. And I'm not trying to do infighting, but you're absolutely right. We can't fight a fire with a little squirt gun. And we're like, please stop. No, unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Right. I mean, and as it pertains to Tim Walz, he seems like a good guy. He seems like a loving father of a child of special needs, and just he seems like he's a good guy. But quite frankly, Tori, when I look at his face, he seems like an old man that's not prepared for this. And one of my favorite movies of all time is No Country for Old Men. And what that movie is really about is Tommy Lee Jones' character. If you look at his character, what he keeps referencing is the old days. He was like, there was a period of time where sheriffs didn't even have a gun. Now, you walk around, and now he's dealing with Mexican drug cartels in the movie. And especially with Javier Bardem's character, he didn't have a modus operandi to deal with unchecked violence and aggression. And that's what that movie was about. He's an older model, and he was kind of saying that. He was like, I used to do sheriff on horseback, and I knew the guy at the cafe. That's what I look at when I see Tim Walz, and I think he would say so. I think he just is a guy that's like, and it'll happen to all of us. It happens in sports. There's something I love where there's a talk show, and they talk to old NBA veterans. And there's a segment called When I Knew It Was Time to Hang It Up, because these guys are always amazing athletes, in the Hall of Fame of their high school, their college, and probably even the pros. And there's one day where you show up to practice and the coach is like, get in front of that guy, guard him. And you're like, I'm trying and I can't. And that's when you're like, I'm an older guy that can't stay in front of these young guys anymore. And I think that's what we're seeing with Tim Walz. So
and a lot of governors and congressmen and senators that are at the height of the Democratic Party have reached a period of time in which we need new blood and we need new tactics and we need to get this under control. Otherwise, we have no shot. No shot.
Yeah. Yeah. And your constituents aren't dealing with the better training. That was 2-3 years ago, bruh. So you need to get on it. All right, Tori, let's do one more on this. All right, Tori, let's knock Greenland out the box really quickly. Trump presses for total control of Greenland. Has Greenland ever been talked about this much?
That's why the Google went so high. Greenland did a march today. I was like, the Inuits are out. Like they're marching in Greenland. And
there's a phrase I guarantee you have talked for hundreds of hours on television, on podcasts, on videocast, and I guarantee you, I would bet my children's lives you've never said the Inuits are out. That's how you know this dude has energized every base. So please continue.
Yeah, and they're wearing red hats that say "Make America Go Away." The United Nations is literally, there's a shot of them and a montage of them all laughing at this, and it's all due to a Nobel Prize and an ego of one orange, sad, narcissistic
She
man.
gave it to him.
I couldn't,
which was so embarrassing.
Why would you try to do that? The Nobel Peace Group or the Nobel Prize Committee was not looking in favor of that. But I understand that
Tori, 1 second.
Yeah.
Well, we were trying to get daytime Emmys on DBL. Imagine if whoever got the daytime Emmy showed up at our door and was like, "You guys can have this if you want." What if we took it? I would have slammed it to the ground and I'd be like, "I'll see you next year." That is so insulting. But please, it's so embarrassing. It's giving me cringes.
Because it's so simple and it's so textbook narcissistic. I want this. I'm going to get it. I don't care how. It doesn't need pride. I didn't, all this stuff. And he's obsessive about it, obsessive about this prize.
So weird.
Constantly obsessed. Now, I know people want to say this is strategy and that there is something to do with the minerals, something to do with the oil of Greenland, something to do with this placement that you're in the Arctic in terms of military, in terms of space force as well. I just want to let you know, we can't just take countries because we want them.
I'm sure there'll be some pushback in the comments. Shut up. Like, you can't. That's not how any of this works. You can't do that.
That's not how international law works. That's not how that's not how the rules of engagement work. That's not what we as a Earth group have decided is okay. That's not okay. That's a war crime.
I will say this, Tori, the only person that works for is Ford, because he does not have any concept of cash for goods. So we will go into a Starbucks. One memory that's forever
for
burned.
Your son.
Yes, for my son. It's forever burned in my mind. We were in a Starbucks in El Segundo, and I was like, "Go sit at that table, and I'll go get your stuff." And I'm just standing in line, and just like this blur out of the corner of my eye, it's like somebody shot a pistol, and Ford ran full speed, grabbed two of those like Starbucks knockoff like Reese's cups. He like grabbed it like a baton in the Olympics and ran back to his chair and just started eating. And I was like, "And I'll pay for those as well." It was very cute when he did it. I laughed my balls off in that Starbucks because I couldn't believe like how he approaches this world. Like, he just ran and
whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants. No regrets, baby.
Yes,
but like, you can't do that with countries.
It's an autonomous nation, and it was autonomous territory from Denmark. And just because he wants it, by the way, we already have a base there, and everyone writing in about strategy and all that. We've been there for a while. I understand the need for a military base. We have one. What we want is their minerals, their oil, and their strategic placement near the Arctic Circle. And you can't just do that. That's called imperialism. That's what colonialism was about. You can't plant an American flag. This be mine now.
Right.
So
I'm thinking of Germany and Poland for some reason. I don't know.
I don't know why. Lost Daydreamer, I know you keep writing this in. Who has stopped you from voting? You also wrote who has stoped you from voting because you spelled it wrong.
But who has stoped you is my question.
He stoped me.
That's a good way to stop an argument. Is like, if you and your partner are having the worst argument ever and you're about to break up and you don't want to, you're like, "No one's stopping you from walking out that door. No one is stopping you." And it would just make you pause for a second to be like, "We'll pick this up in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You're having a little bit of a meltdown with your Viennese glasses."
And shut up. And what we're saying and what we're trying to speak of, Lost Daydreamer, is that he's preparing to take away the vote. The road to fascism is often littered with people saying you're overreacting. So if you're going to try and tell me I'm overreacting, land in Minneapolis and see how they're feeling today. Land there and see how they feel.
Tori, do you want to see a professional transition?
Yeah, let's see it. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Speaking of bad landings. Bo Nix took a bad landing.
What the?
This weekend, his Denver Broncos, Bo Nix, in the midst of winning a game, breaks his ankle on what looked to be a freak play, Tori. You are one game from taking your team to the Super Bowl. Your name is Bo Nix. That sounds like a cleaner that has a 30-minute infomercial. Like, if soap won't do it, Bo Nix it. Grease and grime, Bo Nix it. Tori, what do you think is going on in the mind of Broncos fans? And what would you tell Jared Stidham, who is their sturdy backup, this weekend, going in trying to take his team to the Super Bowl? Because let's look at this through Jared Stidham's eyes, Tori. He's the backup quarterback for the Broncos, good-looking kid. He's not hurt. He ain't been tackled all season. He's chilling, just watching the game, wondering what he's going to do when they get to the next round of the playoffs. And all of a sudden, it's you, buddy. So I need you to give Jared Stidham a pump-up talk, because this man has been drinking Kool-Aid, looking at hot chicks in the stands, checking his E-Trade account, and now he's playing.
So I thought I could have been wrong. I read that the Broncos have traded someone to come in as their quarterback.
They brought a guy in to be their backup, because since Jared Stidham is moving up one,
I see.
They brought in a guy named Ben DiNucci, which is a great name.
Ben DiNucci.
Who also sounds like a city councilman.
Totally. You know what? You just grease DiNucci's wheels and you can get your taxes off. Yes, I have to be honest with you. I think something happened in the locker room. Now, here's why I say this to Bo Nix. A lot of people can't figure out how that ankle got broken. They saw him tweak it, and he kind of does one of these on a play that was not very big. And then he walks off, and you see him walk on that ankle. And then something happened, and they're being extremely quiet about it. And there's word that it happened in the celebration after. So he tweaked the ankle, but broke it in the locker room.
Oh, correct. That's interesting. And I mean, I think as somebody that studied biology, I didn't know this before I started. Like, we think about bones and you think about your femur.
Yeah.
Your humerus. Right. So your femur is a big, strong bone. Yeah. But you've got a lot of little thin bones. My girlfriend Sarah broke her wrist playing softball, and that's when I not like be any more in love with her, but she was out there trying to make a damn play. Yeah. And she broke her wrist because she's a gangster like that. And your wrist has little bones. These are little bones in your ear and your face. They're very thin, and you can break bones like that and sometimes not know. A lot of times when you break a bone in your toe, which a lot of people have,
they don't know.
There's no medical. They just like tape it to the next toe and keep it moving, bro.
Make it friendly. So I do think that's like, I'm praying that Stidham has the Tom Brady effect where he's like, this is my moment. This is my time. And I'm hoping Stidham believes that I hope he steps up to the plate, because this is his moment. But I also think
do you think that would rally his gigantic teammates if in the middle of the locker room speech, he breaks into show tunes? Do you think that would work?
It's better than breaking an ankle. He could break it strong. But I do think that Bo Nix broke his ankle celebrating. That's my unpopular opinion, unfortunately. But no, we're not getting Soros money, my friend. It's so funny.
So I wish. Where is it?
Dude.
Oh my God. I've said this forever. We will sell out. Please DM Michael Dean.
We'll sell out.
There's no money on the left. Like that is an absolute fact. But I will say something else that went on in the world of football really quickly before we move on. The Bills, obviously, Josh Allen, heartbreaking loss. Oh. More heartbreaking for their coach, Sean McDermott, who got fired.
I mean, now was it, Al, you know more than I, was it because of this play, like this that they didn't make it? It feels like a reactionary move, like you're out. I was like shocked.
Well, I think a lot of times there are, like in any business, any corporation, You have CEOs that can get you to a certain spot. Some CEOs are really good about like expanding. Some CEOs are really good about getting everybody to buy in. They're like rally rah guys. But to get over the hill and to become the whatever of your to become the McDonald's of the Nike of your genre, sometimes you need another person in there. And I think they feel like Sean McDermott did a good job, but you keep getting to the precipice of the hill and you roll back down.
I see. He can't.
And yeah, you're running. He ran out of time.
What is it? You're not a closer.
You're not a closer.
You're not a closer.
Tori, you know what I thought about? And I wanted to ask you this question because when they lost the game, he had this look on his face like he knew he was going to be fired. Have you ever had a job where you were like, I'm probably going to get fired for this?
I really like to be a good worker. I'm like a really good goody two shoes. But
were you fired from the dress store?
No.
I got fired from the gym at my apartment when I was in grad school in Miami because I was late constantly. And
so that'll do it.
But like, if you stop and think about the level of incompetence, my job was in my house. All I had to do is take the elevator down and sit in a chair in the gym. And I was repeatedly late to the point where I was like, when I got fired, I was like, yeah, I get it, bro.
I understand.
I mean, Tori, it was so bad. I'm not going to say his last name, but I remember my boss was this guy named Biotti. And he kind of like seemed like a light soul. Like I just didn't I don't think I was mentally I wasn't testing him, but I just didn't think he would fire me. And the second time I did it, I was out the door and I was like, how did you lose this cush job where all you have to do is sit in a chair and watch hot chicks come in and work out and you were unable to do it?
To complete that task. Like you could not do it. It's too hard. I understand that.
Oh, what a bum I was.
Yeah, that's bad. I didn't lose the job. I worked at a Salt and Straw, which is an ice cream shop, and I scooped and made the waffle cones. And the reason I left that store was Daily Blast Live. I got hired to be on national TV. And I remember sitting in the bathroom and taking off my paper hat and my caramel apron and being like, I gotta go.
That is awesome. I told you I got fired from a sink company. I think it's still a company. When I lived in Rhode Island, when I was at Brown, I worked for a sink company called Core Stone, and they made really great sinks. They made acrylic sinks, and this is maybe the height of partying Al, because this was young Al that was partying. This isn't even 29-year-old partying. Like there are two Michael Jordan eras. There's like the 93 Jordan and the 99. This was young Jordan. I was kicking it, and I was showing up to this job in a way.
You want to have some sings.
Oh my God. And they loved me because I was fun. I was still drunk.
Right.
And they fired me on a Friday. And I remember I called my friend Stretch, who I've told you before. And one of his parents worked for Southwest. Southwest was kind of just getting new to being, and that's when they had those cheap flights to Vegas.
Yeah,
and he was like, F it, bro. You want to go to Vegas? I drove from the job I was fired to. I went straight to TF Green Airport in Providence. And I was in Vegas before my shift should have been over. Like, this is how irresponsible I was pre-children and all that stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah. And shout out to Core Stone Sink. If somebody's looking, see the whole pitch with their sinks is that they don't scratch because it's acrylic all the way through. So even if you scratch, it's the same color. I still remember that's how good of an employee I was.
Thanks for the sell.
They really blew it with me. I bet you're looking now like, oh, we should have held on to that drunkard. All right, Tori, I want to talk about this really quickly too, because this story is not going away. Tori, your boy Kiefer Sutherland. We thought that the weird rideshare story would just kind of go away. There was a period of time where having good PR would squash down and stomp these stories. What are you paying for, Kiefer? Anyway, Kiefer Sutherland, the Uber fight gets a little bit wilder. New allegations say he punched and tried to choke an Uber driver, and dash cam may exist. That, like, when you're so rich and so privileged, you don't know that these things exist. Like even dirt bags know, like, hey, they got a dash cam. Kiefer has been in, like cars. Like he had car services. He ain't been in an Uber. He must have been real drunk. So if the dash cam exists, is this something that could cost somebody their career? Because I think now, as opposed to back in the day when you would have a PR publicist that would be like, the idea that Tory assaulted her Uber driver is ridiculous. We rebuke these claims and we will see our day in court. And it would just go away because it's 1989 and there's no footage. But now, can you still like an actor if you see them take a swing at a tired Uber driver that's just trying to get this drunk man back to the Hollywood Hills?
It's not good. And I know this isn't comparison, but when we talked about Diddy being a real jerk to Cassie, nothing hit until, I know this is not the same.
That's a great point. Keep going.
The video, when we see him take her hair and drag her and punch her, nobody could see Diddy in the same way from before that video and post that video. There are two different Diddy eras. It's before I saw that and after I saw that. I didn't think he was capable. I didn't think I could see him that angry. I didn't think I could see him so violent. If there's video, and of course there's video because Uber drivers often have that.
There's video everywhere.
Everywhere. If we see Kiefer Sutherland trying to choke out an Uber driver, it will definitely change his career. Now, I haven't seen him be a hit since 24, which was phenomenal, by the way, the great show. But yeah, video footage changes the image and the truth of what happens. And there's no getting out of that. There's really not. So I think that's
Tori, I push back on the no getting out of it.
Okay.
Because, you know, and it's a series I want to do with you, and I'm pitching it now. It's called How to Watch Television, because what I see when I watch television, I think is a lot different. I think people think television shows exist for their entertainment, and to an extent they do, but I think certain shows exist for a certain reason. So, for example, somebody like a celebrity like Kiefer Sutherland. A couple years ago, it was the guy from Vanderpump Rules or whatever that everybody Jax, whatever. Everybody hated him. Sandoval or whatever. So what did he do? He went on the show Special Ops. Just like Terrell Owens. But Special Ops is different than Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars you do after Special Ops, because Special Ops means the public hates you. So almost like a religious thing, you need to be flogged. So the way that they flog you is
a ladder.
Yeah, they take you in a helicopter and dangle you over a waterfall. And and you scream. Kiefer's got to go on Special Ops, and he's got to be in a pile of mud and get out and start crying about something about his parents or his upbringing or something. And then once you have that moment, the public forgives you. Then you go on Dancing with the Stars, and your partner says, "I've never seen anybody like Tory work so hard." And now you can start working again. That is the process to get back in the public good graces. So I'm very anxious to see if he's got FU money. But if he does want to be a public figure again, and this dash cam footage does exist, the only way to get out of it is by being dangled over a volcano. That's it.
You got to go to Bear Grylls and get eaten by an alligator.
You got to fry some caterpillars and eat them and cry and talk about how you were bullied.
And drink your pee and that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm very interested to see where this story goes. All right, Tori, do you want to sneak one more in?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to do one more. Let's see. All right, this is kind of interesting. Now, Tor, this is a story I knew nothing about. That's why I saved it for the end, because I was like, I don't know. But this is what it says. Nicki Minaj versus Don Lemon, who's having a hell of a week.
Yeah.
Good Lord. It got a little ugly. Nicki uses a homophobic slur while raging over coverage of the Minnesota church protests that we talked about earlier that was tied to ICE tensions. Is this a line that you never cross or fight? What do you think the backlash should be, especially for Nicki, seeing as like, you know, her interview with Erica Kirk and the TPUSA thing cost her so many followers that she deleted her Instagram?
She lost 10 million followers.
Is that a lot? Because I have that many.
10 million. Either she is doing this deliberately and like a Marjorie Taylor Greene where she's fully switching as a strategy and she's fully going Republican and fully going MAGA and she's like all in. If that's her strategy, I don't understand it, but that might be, she needs a pardon. Her husband's in jail. She needs money. So there's all these things that could be mitigating factors. Or she's just like a horrific human being who has always been this way. And her LGBTQ plus fans are rampant, and they were really loyal. And
they were the majority of her gigantic fan base. That's why I'm like, how could she be switching? She had as many followers as you could ever ask for.
Exactly. And so she's either doing it deliberately to really get in the graces of Trump and try and get some kind of ease on this jail time, or she's just been a bigot this whole time and a homophobe, and which I can't understand. Things are going real downhill with Nicki Minaj. I don't get Nicki Minaj. I don't get it. And you know what? Everything she gets, she deserves if she's using homophobic slurs. Shame on her.
Well, Tori, do you know what we all deserve? Yes, girls, time for a fact of the day.
Right. That's
Tori,
right.
It's been a day and we need a fact to just hit people with.
Okay. Are you guys ready?
I am ready.
Okay. A single, wait. Okay. Sorry.
No, it's going great.
What? Dead air. So good. What is the strongest muscle in the body?
The strongest, is it the one that connects your tongue? No, that would be a ligament. Strongest muscle, would it be your quad?
Certainly not my quad. No, but some people have it in the chat. It's actually the tongue.
That's what I said.
No, you said the ligament attached.
You know,
to
the little connector thing. That's
The
what moves it.
uvula?
Yeah.
No,
That's the thing that's you doing the marionette. The tongue is just a big lob of flesh until you move it.
This is the strongest muscle in the whole body.
So can I get some props for that? Can I get at least like a 81% so I can go back and show my mom and be like, can I get off punishment, please?
Now, you were tongue adjacent. You were tongue adjacent. Should I do one more?
Yes, let's do one more.
Okay. The lightning bolt, any lightning bolt, is hotter than the sun's surface.
I feel like you made that up right at the end.
I did not.
The lightning bolt
is hotter than the surface of the sun.
You can't even get close to the surface of the sun. You can get close to a lightning bolt. It almost hits people all the time. They don't vaporize.
Well, it's also not very large. The sun is quite large. A lightning bolt is, but yeah, the lightning bolt, I'm just going to repeat it again. The lightning bolt is
in a slightly different tone. I'm just going to repeat it in a slightly different tone.
While the sun's surface temperature is about 5,000 Celsius. It's so
Cellulose sounds like a company that went out of business with Sprint.
Yeah, it's like that drink thing. A single lightning bolt can heat the air it passes through to approximately 30,000 Celsius.
And on that, we will at least all know that Tori now knows how to say Celsius. Colleagues, we appreciate it. Remember, smash that like button. Please tell a friend, like and subscribe. And you know what time it is. We'll be here tomorrow. Same time, same place. Love y'all, colleagues. Michael Dean, take us out, baby.
Mwah!